Hi, I'm Mark Kenyon with Garage Gurus. Today's tech tip, I want to talk to you about diagnosing a brake drag on a vehicle. In front of us, we have a caliper. It came off my daughter's 2011 Ford Escape. And her complaint to me was, she came home one day and she said, "Dad, I think there's something wrong with my car. It won't go over 25 miles an hour sometimes." And I'm thinking, okay. And she said, "Yeah, and the RPMs will be up about 4,000. My first thought was, ooh, we got a transmission issue with this vehicle. It's not shifting, or it's slipping, or something's going on. So I took the vehicle out and I drove it, and the first thing I noticed was every time I let off of the pedal, the vehicle slowed down on its own. And at that point I felt a little sigh of relief of, well, at least it's not a very expensive transmission repair. So I brought the vehicle back. My driveway has a little bit of a slant, so I thought, you know what, let's just test this. Real sophisticated test that I did. Put it in neutral and took my foot off the brake and the car didn't move. At that point, it's like, okay, I've got an issue with the brakes. So I went in the garage and got my temp gun, checked the temperature on the front rotors. They're about 400 degrees almost. And I'm like, yeah, this is the problem. So at this point, I'm trying to decide, is it a caliper that's failed? Or is it a brake hose that's failed? Okay, because I really don't know. I just know those brakes are dragging. Real quick lesson on what's inside of a brake caliper, guys. Really the only thing that's in here is this piston, a square cut seal that goes around the piston that's designed to deflect. When you put brake pressure behind that piston, the piston comes out, seal deflects. It doesn't like that. So as soon as you let the pressure off or lift off the brake pedal, so to speak, that deflection is going to pull that piston back. It wants to come back to its normal at-rest position. And it's not like it moves it a lot, guys. There's not any kind of return springs in there or any cables or anything like that. All there is that rubber seal. Now what happens over time, these boots can leak, material can get in there, so between the outside of that seal and this rubber seal, dust boot, so to speak, there can be debris, crud, whatever you want to call it, builds up in there. So the brake pressure can push the piston out, but there's so much material in there it causes resistance for the piston to come back. That's why you get the dragging brakes. And in her situation, the more stop and go driving she did, the worse it got. Okay? So at that point I was like, yeah, which one is it? Okay. Now you can see I've replaced both pieces. My thought process was, one, it's my daughter's car. Two, the brake hose is a fairly inexpensive part. And if I'm going to do CPR in this vehicle, which I did, calipers, pads, and rotors, why would I not change an $8 part and take a chance that it's going to ruin or fail and ruin all my new pieces I just put on? Guys, when these brake hoses fail, they can actually create a little flap, or the inside of that hose can break away and create a flap. And that flap could be where when I put pressure against it, it opens, but when I release the pressure, it closes and creates like a gate, maybe like a one-way gate. Fluid in, no fluid back. That fluid not coming back would hold that caliper piston out and cause it to drag on that rotor like we're talking about here. Okay, so what I wanted to do at this point was I went over to the vehicle, and my diagnostic tip for you guys today is to open the bleeder screw to see if that pressure is in there because of a bad brake hose, or is it a dragging caliper. Be very careful when you're opening that brake bleeder, guys, because there could be pressure there and there could be some pretty hot brake fluid. So I opened the bleeder. Now, as I said before, if the problem's in the brake hose, okay, opening that bleeder will relieve this brake pressure and the tire would turn. You would get it to turn. I don't know how freely you're going to get it to turn, but it's going to turn. If the problem is with the caliper piston not retracting, removing brake fluid in this system right here, or opening that bleeder, is going to have no effect, guys. Remember, it's that rubber seal deflected out, and the piston being able to slide over that rubber seal. With all that debris in there, it can't slide back, basically twist. If that's the case, which it was in our case, the thing was dragging, I still had a hard time turning the wheel. Matter of fact, it wouldn't turn at all. And the caliper piston was where my problem was at. You can see by the brake pad right here how hot this thing was getting, all right? A lot of temperature built into this, got into this, turned it white. This is a very telltale brake pad for excessive heat, all right? Unfortunately, she'd been driving it for a while by the time I was able to get to it and to check it out. Okay. Guys, I hope today's tech tip was beneficial for you. I hope that you get an opportunity to use this on future vehicles in order to, basically decrease your diagnostic time and to fix these cars correctly. If you need any more information about us, go to our website, garagegurus.tech. You find information on training, some training materials there. And if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe.